Hey guys, so I thought for this video I would talk a little bit about language learning, and I think that might be a good scope for the channel. Um, I speak three languages: English, obviously, Spanish, and French, and I'll do a little introduction in each and talk about some of the strategies that really helped me. I used to watch those YouTube videos with like the polyglots that were like, yeah, I speak 7 languages, and they like maybe know 3, 4 phrases. So I wanted to like talk a little bit about my language journey and give you some actionable tips that can really help. So in English, Maddie, late 20s, grew up in an immigrant family, and my first language is technically Spanish, although once I started school, I sort of shifted into English. And pretty much when I'm thinking, I think in English unless I'm spending a lot of time in one culture. Then I'll sort of start catching my thoughts, sort of shifting. Like I'll be like, oh man, I should get some groceries. Si no, después no voy a tener tiempo. So it'll start code meshing in my brain. And after living in France for 6 months and studying French for 4 years, French has also started seeping in, which sometimes clashes with Spanish. And so I recommend if you're learning a language or multiple languages at the same time, it could be tricky if they have a similar root, if they're both Romance languages. I pretty much lost the Portuguese I was learning because I wanted to prioritize French. But yeah, like now when I go to sleep or when I'm walking, I'll be like, mais j'ai besoin de faire quelque chose avant d'arriver à la maison. And it's been cool to see how adaptable the brain is. Like, your brain really is incredible and it's made for this. There's a lot of people that will say, like, well, once you're an adult, it's too late. But I think if you treat it the way kids are taught to think about language, it'll really help. So I'll do a little introduction now in Spanish and then one in French. Hola, soy Maddie. Yo me crié aquí en Miami. Mis padres son de Cuba, entonces yo aprendí el español primero y después cuando me matriculé en la escuela aprendí el inglés. Entonces cuando yo pienso o cuando quiero hablar de cosas muy serias, obviamente uso el inglés, pero tengo la bendición que vivo en una comunidad latina, entonces siempre hay gente aquí que habla en español, en el supermercado, en las tiendas. Entonces lo bueno de eso es que me ha ayudado a preservar el idioma, porque yo conozco mucha gente que vive afuera de Miami o en ciudades en donde no hay una población latina, entonces poco a poco pierden el idioma o lo retienen, pero también con un acento bien raro. Entonces lo que a mí me ayudó fue escuchar música, leer, porque así vas a añadir vocabulario, y también tener la humildad para que la gente te corrigen. Yo sé que hay personas que no les gustan que le digan algo o que le digan que han dicho algo mal o lo que sea. Como que le cae mal que alguien le diga, oye, esto se dice así, no así. Pero invita a eso, porque así es como vas a aprender, así es como los niños aprenden, la gente lo corrigen y te va a ayudar. Aunque sea un poco incómodo, te va a ayudar. So something I just said was to make sure that you allow yourself to be corrected, listen to music, read, and have the same flexibility that children have. Allow people to correct you, allow people to give you feedback. I know it can be uncomfortable, or sometimes you're like, oh, did I really sound that bad? Or you're like, oh, you understood me. Just be flexible. So in French, salut, c'est Maddy. Je suis dans la vingtaine. Et donc, les français, c'est la langue que j'ai appris récemment, depuis 2021 à peu près. Et j'ai noté que les trucs qui m'ont vraiment aidé, c'est les vidéos sur YouTube, parce que tu peux mettre les sous-titrages ou changer la vitesse. Et donc, comme j'avais dit en anglais, espagnol, c'est vraiment utile de écoute de musique parce que c'est amusant aussi et c'est des vocabulaires courants chez les jeunes aussi. De lire parce que ça te va aider avec les vocabulaires, avec l'écriture. Et surtout si vous voulez apprendre le passé simple ou de la grammaire un peu technique. Et d'avoir un esprit ouvert parce que c'est bon si les gens te corrigent. Et les Français, ils te vont toujours corriger, donc ça va. Mais vraiment, il faut avoir beaucoup de patience parce que c'est difficile et il y a beaucoup de choses que tu vas apprendre en même temps. C'est la langue, c'est l'audition, c'est la grammaire, donc c'est pas seulement une chose. Il y a plein de choses dans une langue et donc il faut être vraiment gentil avec toi parce que c'est facile de dire ah mais pourquoi je peux pas comprendre, oh, c'est dingue, mais il faut vraiment avoir de patience et de trouver une manière amusante. S'il y a un show, une série sur Netflix, prends ça, regarde ça. S'il y a un livre que tu connais bien, lire la version en français ou dans la langue ciblée. So those are my language tips. I might do more. Maybe go a little bit grander. Maybe show you the connections that I found that have really helped. Because it has helped me to think about French and Spanish more as like a unity and to find the things that are in common to really help me. But recap: watch shows in your target language. Read in your target language. It could even be Reddit. I would read. You could change Reddit to see what's happening in that country. I would read French Reddit threads. It's funny. You're getting a version of the language that's spoken by people and not something that's preserved in like 18th century prose that are almost impenetrable. And have an open spirit. Allow people to correct you. Even seek it out. You could tell somebody like, hey, if I make a mistake, can you just let me know? Seek it out. My parents and people around me correct me all the time, and it's been really good to just be like, oh, okay. Because when they correct you, it'll be in context. Like, I have a friend, second gen Latino. We were at a restaurant, and instead of saying, ya terminé, I finished, he said, ya terminó. Like speaking about himself in the third person. And that would have been a good moment to correct him because he would memorize it. Be like, oh, okay, in this context. And then if he's ever at a restaurant, he'll know. So, and I didn't because I felt bad and I was like, oh, maybe it's rude. Maybe he'll take it the wrong way. But it would have been a great opportunity, and I think it would have helped him with his Spanish, especially now that he has a job that he has to work with a lot of different people. So, what are your language tips? What have helped you? Bye. Salut. Hasta luego.